All right. Okay. Anyways, so we have some big news. Not really. Again, there's no surprise, really. Okay. Only surprise I would be like is, oh, now they decided to talk. Oh, okay, cool. All right, nice. Now they want to say something. Okay, cool. True or not true doesn't matter. All right, but there is truth in a lot of things and in a lot of stories. So, in the post I made, you see it's called the Project Looking Glass and Time Technology by Robert Sepeher, if I'm pronouncing that right. And it's interesting what it mentions and Trump's uncle connection to Tesla. Now, one of the things that Tesla talked about, one thing that stood out was that battles will be fought with electrical waves. And in a way, if you really think about it, okay, what is this device you're looking at this video from? A glass, right? It's a looking glass of sorts. Okay. And then what do you see? You see all kinds of stuff that has an effect, a wave effect. All right. A vibration, spirit, emotional, physical, yada, yada. Electrical, you call it however you want. It has an energy effect, right? So, with this energy effect, okay, many things can be theorized, hypothesized, imagined, okay? Many people's thoughts, emotions can be influenced, which influences their actions, all right? If it was not careful. Now, what does this mean? Someone might ask. For us, it just means keep doing what you're doing. Keep creating, keep studying, because you can do anything that you want. And remember that animals are friends, not food. Life is self-sustaining. It's very simple. Everything is made up. Nations are businesses and commerce. All currencies are representations of credit, and everyone has credit, and that credit represents infinite value, and that infinite value is both natural within you and around you in nature. That's it. Okay. See, people look at these things and these disclosures, and maybe on another side, of course, we already thought of this. There are those who have been operating in fear and insecurity and worry, maybe greed, but they want to turn a new leaf because they're realizing how futile and, frankly, how unhealthy a path of fear and insecurity was and greed was. Cool. Well, we still got work to do, so let's just keep on working. Not as far as job, let's keep on creating. All right, make things more simpler. For example, let's start with these skyscrapers. There's a whole bunch of skyscrapers and tall buildings that are not even full. Okay, I think it's way better to have a flying saucer, personal flying saucer craft, and keep the lands open. We all become and learn to become good stewards of self sustainability. All right. Because remember, the reason we also say animals are friends, not food, not just because they feel like us. All right. But because they help maintain the ecosystem. And no, I'm not going to get into that argument that people talk about, well, plants are similar. I'm like, yeah, plants are similar, but they're on a much higher level. That's why you can't overcome nature. All right. If you cut a leaf, okay, and you plant it in the ground, that leaf is going to grow again. You cut an animal, you plant them in the ground, that arm is. Let's say you cut their feet, like people with pig's feet. That foot's not going to grow. Okay, unless you got some kind of experiment where you know, uh, there's this guy, I forget what his name is. I think it's Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer. I think I don't remember, but this guy's working on homeopathology, sub, using electricity, because we're all, everything is energy, electrical energy essentially, and using that to rejuvenate limbs and stuff. Okay, which leads me into that funny video that someone made. I think it was Corridor Digital, about a Star Wars training where the two Jedi literally had to try to kill the other one, but they had this machine to bring them all back if they were cut from a certain limb or one of their limbs were cut. That's terrible. But hey, whatever. He's alive. They're alive at least, if that were a thing, they're alive, But we can get to we are yet to achieve, it's already achieved, but there's still the process of being able to get to a point where um, you're like the perfect cell from Dragon Ball Z. You can repair yourself quite easily, and that does have to do with how well you are fueling yourself with the right energy, okay, and the right spirit too, because you're everything works in layers and different aspects, but those aspects create, like I said in a previous video, one bigger whole. Okay. All right, y'all. That's all I got. We got to keep going. Peace. Next.